don't. You're not selling anything.
The Fed's not done, and I'm going to tell you why.
Welcome back to Sean's show, everyone. I hope you had a great 4th of July. I love this country. And I hope that you do too. I hope you had a great 4th of July. I hope that you spent time with loved ones. I hope that you spent time with friends and family and ate good food. I hope that you remembered what this country is all about on that historic day, the 4th of July. It's not just a day. The 4th of July is not just a day to watch your nephew blow his hand off with an M80. The 4th of July is not just a day to have 12 or 13 hot dogs in a 2-hour sitting and then go vomit all of that meat up into a toilet. That is what the holiday is about. That's not just what the 4th of July is about. The 4th of July is more than that. It's a day to remember that our country, the United States of America, was founded by terrorists who defected from the British Empire to start a new country and commit a genocide on the people who were already living in what is now the United States of America. And it's important that we celebrate these terrorists, the founding fathers. It's important that we celebrate these men who were in the outer elite of the United Kingdom, Britain, whatever you want to call it, hopped across the pond with wealth and set up colonies and defected from the empire because they didn't like the tax rate. That's the founding of America. And it's very important that we recognize that everything we have now, democracy, technology, Sean's show, every pillar of this country that is so important is only possible because of, I don't know. I don't even know their names. George Washington, my favorite terrorist. My favorite terrorist is a gentleman by the name of George Washington. And I hope you had fun. I hope you had a good day. I had a good time. 4th of July is always a fun day because it's always about wars. It always feels like a war. Like I always feel the sun goes down and the sky turns red. Like I feel like I'm in fucking Gaza on the 4th of July. Like I'm like eating like cold food. Like I'm like eating cold food and drinking warm beer and the sky is turning red. I'm like, what the fuck? Am I in Russia right now? Like what the fuck is going on? It was a good day. I do hope you had fun. It's just important that we recognize that every country, and I know I've definitely said this before, but it's just important that we recognize that every country is simply a gang or a cartel that became large enough to monopolize violence in a geography to the point where they could rewrite history. And you let enough time, if a cartel becomes big enough, if a gang becomes big enough and powerful enough and exists for a long enough period of time, like the United States, then eventually they can rewrite history. And that's what that's the history of every country. Because no one wants to live. No one wants, it doesn't, because humans, we need to lie to ourselves to feel good about our surroundings. We need to feel like good and just and like we're the good guy. And that's why we rewrite history. But the reality of it is that every single country is merely a gang that was very successful. It's just a bunch of very successful cartels with a bunch of assholes at the top that trade, that broker power with each other and send the poor to war. And that's That's a good thing. And that's what 4th of July is all about. And so what I'm trying to say is that's good. Because I hope to be one of those power brokers someday. So with that out of the way, I think we have a lot of news to get to. I do hope you're having a good week. I have not gotten any questions in my Facebook group yet, which I'm weeping about. I'm very sad. But join the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Sean Show to ask a question. But lots of news this week, guys. I want to highlight some things that have gone on in the AI community as of late. AI is really becoming commercialized. It's becoming industrialized. It's becoming productized, as they say in the Silicon Valley, to the point now where we're starting to see it infiltrate every part of our daily lives. I mean, I used AI to make breakfast this morning. That's not true. I used my brain. Actually, I did, because I bought my breakfast was like those sour eggs from Trolley, the Trolley sour eggs. That was my breakfast. And I bought them with a credit card. And I'm sure the financial company that processed that payment uses AI. So AI powered my breakfast. That's the kind of claims that they're making in Silicon Valley. That's how far they're reaching. You see how far I just reached to say AI is involved in my breakfast? That's how far these companies are reaching to say that they integrate AI into their products when it's not needed. Maybe behind the scenes a little bit, yeah, but it's really not needed it's fundamentally not needed in many parts of business and government. It's just not. But they're trying to jam it down our throats because they can't. I think people need to understand the reason that AI is being jammed down our throats so fucking hard. It's a massive Silicon Valley AI fucking dildo being jammed down our fucking throats. We're choking on it. The Silicon Valley is making the whole world choke on this big AI dildo of bullshit. And the reason that they're doing it is because they cannot afford to let AI products fail. They've invested billions and billions and billions of dollars, thousands of man hours of bullshit, of just combing through these models, adjusting the parameters as if that fucking does anything. Redesigning, setting up guardrails, any number of things. I'm not an expert, but they're going through these models and trying to make them better, trying to make them into a consumer product. And they just, there's no turning back. There's just no, that's the way they look at it. It's just, there's no turning back. It's coming. Whether we like it or not, it's coming. And we're not even going to be the customers. We're not even going to pay for this shit. We're going to be a user. We're going to be the product, just like we are the product with Facebook. Unless you buy ads on Facebook like me. I'm a customer of Facebook. Most people are not. Most people, you use Facebook, you use Instagram, you're the product. And the customers are the advertisers. AI will probably have a very similar business model. It's going to be, we use the product for free. And then 10 years later, when we lose World War III to China, we get imprisoned. We have to go work in the labor camp. That's what's going to happen. We are never going to be the customer of AI. We're going to be the user, the product, and we're going to end up in the internment camps, depending on what you say to the AI. Have you seen Ex Machina? We're going to get killed. We're going to get stabbed in the fucking back. That's what's going to happen. But in the meantime, don't worry, because guess who's using AI? Goldman Sachs. I love it. Goldman Sachs, here's a story. Goldman Sachs deploys its first generative AI tool across the firm. So this I'm very excited about because I was rejected from Goldman Sachs many times in college. I tried to get an internship there many times and I was rejected. So I have a bone to pick with this company. I actually met a partner at Goldman Sachs. It was this old whore witch who brokered a lot of transactions in the technology industry. And I was basically like hooking up with the job and she never got back. She was like, Sean, let's keep in touch. I was like, so no job. And then I told her, I was like, what if I told you I could use generative AI? What if I told you I could deploy generative AI across your company? Would you give me a job then? That's what, and there's a lot of people out there that are complaining about like how hard the job market is right now. It's not that hard. You're just stupid. You really, if you're struggling to get a good paying job in today's economy, let me give you a little piece of advice. When the interviewer asks you what you can bring to the table, just say this word for word. I am committed to delivering and deploying a comprehensive generative AI solution across your company. They will give you $1 million right then and there. I'm not even kidding. Because they love bullshitters. Just bullshit. You guys, I think people are too, this is, going back to 4th of July, this is a country made for bullshitters. I'm bullshitting right now. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And yet you're listening. So that's the vibe. It's a country that was founded, again, by terrorists who were great at sales and they were great at bullshitting. So it's time to get with the program. It's time to lose your integrity. It's time to lose your honesty, and it's time to bullshit. And it's time to deploy generative AI at Goldman Sachs, which happened. And so let's take a look at this story. You know, I'm really actually glad that Goldman Sachs is finally using AI in their firm, because in 2008, they helped crash the economy with a mortgage-backed security. So I'm very excited to see how they're going to crash the economy with generative AI this time. Maybe they'll develop like a generative AI-backed security that's just gonna crash the economy in a whole new way, and that's exciting. I'm excited by that. I'm happy. So let's look at this. Goldman Sachs's generative AI platform, click. Just fucking kill me now. Goldman Sachs's generative AI platform, known as the Goldman Sachs AI platform. Wow, that's a great name. Real smart people at Goldman Sachs. Grew out of an existing machine learning platform and is the single point of entry for all generative AI used at the company. Oh, great. So my banking data is going to be mixed with the sexual harassment claims of the employees at the company. That's going to be in the same AI model. That's cool. Goldman's approach also included tapping partnerships with OpenAI backer Microsoft to use GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 models and Google for Gemini model. The platform also uses open source models, including Meta Platforms' Llama. The ability to switch between models for different use cases is a key benefit of the approach. I'm not impressed, but let's keep reading. AI is a new thing, he said. Safety and responsibility is absolutely our number one priority. You're Goldman motherfucking dick-sucking Sachs. You don't give a fuck about safety, and you don't give a fuck about responsibility. Neither of things are on your top 10 lists of priorities. Goldman Sachs just deployed AI, and they said that safety and responsibility are their number one priorities. Your number one priority is doing blow, and your number two priority is evicting single moms from their homes, and your number three priority is doing blow in the evicted apartment. Those are your top three priorities. And your number four priority is developing securities that are so complicated that that you can trick the public into thinking that they're worth something when they're worth nothing, and crash the economy. Those are your priorities. Safety. I mean, it's gross. Would I like to be on the AI team at Goldman Sachs? Of fucking course I would. Those guys are making a shitload of money. I live in Brooklyn. You think I wouldn't like to live in fucking Lower Manhattan? Of course I would. But this shit's crazy, guys. I mean, it really is crazy. Select Goldman employees can access the platform directly to interface with various models, and developers are using it to build custom applications on top of the models, such as a co-pilot assistant tool for investment bankers that search a large body of public and proprietary documents to answer questions and extract analysis. Okay, all right. I'm glad I dug a little more. This is what I wanted. Let's really zoom in on this. some Goldman employees can use the AI model to build custom applications. One of these custom applications is a Copilot assistant tool, just like an assistant, like a virtual assistant for investment bankers. I can't wait to find out how Tyler, the senior associate technology investment banker at Goldman Sachs, who rapes his girlfriend, I'm really excited to see how he uses the assistant tool at his job. That's going to be great. He's going to type in, like, how do I convince this Indian guy to buy this company from me? That's how he's going to use it. It's just going to be racist. It's going to be Tyler. He's going to show up to the office at like 3 p.m. He's hungover, just got done with a really good, nice rape session with his girlfriend. Sorry, I'm hammering that, but I stand by that. I stand by the fact that finance bros are a disproportionately rape people. That's true. That's the truth. This is true. I just have a gut feeling. I always listen to my gut, and my gut tells me that white men, people always talk about they talk about crime statistics and they bring up black people commit the most crime per capita. It's all those statistics, not true. It's all bullshit. You want to know who commits the most violent crime? It's finance pros that work at Goldman. It's these guys. And so I would just love to see how Tyler, the investment banker, is going to use this virtual assistant. He'll be typing. He'll be like, how do I get my girlfriend to not go to the press about the fact that I raped her? That's the kind of shit that they're going to be typing into the AI. It's not going to be like, oh, well, what's the GDP of this country so I can use it in my sales report? What's the average selling price for this software so I can tell my partners about blah, 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 blah. No. It's going to be, how much coke has fentanyl in it? And all these AIs have crazy names. It's like Cloud. The arrogance of the AI branding is what really pisses me off. If you follow the AI, if you're following AI at all, that if you're following it at all, let me tell you let me see if you relate to this. The branding of some of these AI companies is so arrogant beyond belief. The branding that they use, Cloud, Anthropic, OpenAI, and the color schemes they use, it's like browns and like blacks and whites. It's like the most muted, and that's by design. It's by design because you know what? These are very muted. It's very muted colors. So that way, when the AI robots rip your heart out in front of you and feed it to continue their lifespan, when the AI revolution comes and the robots rips your heart out in front of you, you're not going to expect it because Cloud had muted colors in their branding. That's what I'm talking about. It's very unassuming. It's very safe. The branding and the colors are trying to sell you on the fact that, hey, nothing's going on over here. You want to know why one of the AI companies named their product Claude? Because they don't want you to, it's boring on purpose. A lot of AI branding, it's boring on purpose so that you don't look into it. Because if you look into it and you realize, if you go one layer deeper than what everyone's talking about on the surface, you go one layer deeper and you start to think about how these LLMs are designed and how they're trained and what data they're using and how much of a security risk it can be for your data. And the implications are so vast. You go one layer deeper and you'll be just as freaked out as I am about all this shit, if not more. So that's why the AI branding is so boring. It's so that you don't look. Like if the AI's name wasn't Claude, if the AI's name was like, I don't know, Van Halen, Velociraptor, like you'd be like, what the fuck is that? Or like, if they named it like Ex Mach, if they named it like, I don't know, Skynet, like it's really, what it really is Skynet, but they named it Claude. And that's what's really sad is like when the AI revolution comes and all these robots are killing humans, it's gonna be sad because like the names of the AIs that are killing us aren't even cool. Like at least in the movies, it was like Skynet. You know, it was like I Robot. The robots were dope as fuck. They look cool. They look like killers. And you're like, I'm like kind of rooting for the AI in iRobot. I'm like, yeah, kill that fucking guy, dude. AI for robots for life. But in the real world, it's gonna be Claude. It's gonna be a million Claudes slowly walking around neighborhoods shooting people. And it's gonna be kind of boring. And that's the real tragedy. But it's not just Goldman Sachs that is deploying AI, it's the government. So you look at Goldman Sachs, you know who else is starting to deploy AI? If that pissed you off, then get your strap. Is your seatbelt on? If you're in the car, is your seatbelt on? Strap in. Guess who's using AI? Los Alamos. Los Alamos. If you don't know, they made the first atomic bomb. This is the government lab funded by the taxpayer that designed and developed the first atomic bomb. And now they're partnering with OpenAI to see what they can do together. And you tell me, do you think that's going to be good? Do you think that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's going to be a bad thing. It's going to be bad. It's crazy. I mean, and obviously like in the Los Alamos one, they're not telling us what they use it for, but I can take a pretty good guess that it involves brown kids and their deaths. Here's a quote from this article. Rapid advancement in AI's capabilities have also raised fears among lawmakers and even some tech executives that the technology could be used by bad actors to develop bioweapons. Oh, great. In January, OpenAI said ChatGPT-4, an earlier AI model, poses, quote, at most a slight risk of helping people create biological threats based on its... What the fuck? Hold on. Hold on. So OpenAI has partnered with Los Alamos, who created the first atomic bomb. And now they're using AI. And let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. OpenAI said GPT-4 poses, quote, at most a slight risk of helping people create biological threats. What the fuck? So that's great. And that's the whole attitude about these companies that are developing AI. Their whole attitude is, again, it's a big robot dildo being jammed down your throat, and we have no choice. OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, which is Google, they're putting it out there against our will, and they're going choke on it. Fuck you, choke on it. That's what these companies are doing. They're working with the government to create the next, they're going to work with AI to design bioweapons for safety. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how it's the next evolution of the military industrial complex. It's going to be AI. It's going to be AI bioweapons, and it's going to be in disinformation. It's going to be information warfare with Sora. That's how these products are ultimately going to be used. It's not going to be to help you create shit. You think ask any filmmaker, they fucking hate AI. You think any filmmaker is going to give a fuck? Yeah, you're going to get some bullshit, cheap ass Marvel movie with made with Sora. You're going to get that. But like any filmmaker that has any stones at all, as worth their salt at all, they fucking hate AI. So the real revenue streams for these companies is not going to be by enabling artists to create stuff better. And that's what they say. that's like this Silicon Valley. They love dumbing down shit in their marketing pitches. They go like Sora, helping you make better. Sora, helping you make better. Claude, helping you think good. Like, it's like, I thought you guys were supposed to be smart. That's not even grammatically correct. Claude, helping you think gooder. It's like, fuck off. It's going to be used to create the next mad cow disease. It's going to be like AI COVID. It's going to be used to like make fucking AI COVID. Are you ready for that? Los Alamos is using OpenAI to study. And again, the way they sell it is that, no, we're researching this because we don't want China to get to it first. It's another Cold War. It's just like a nuclear Cold War. There's literally, I don't know. I'm just kind of talking to my ass right now, but like it feels like there's like a AI Cold War going on right now, where it's the capabilities of this technology are so vast and unknown that there's such a rush to get to whatever it is first. Because if Russia gets to it first or China gets to it first, it could really be bad for us. And I think the military understands that. And that's why they're using OpenAI to develop like, AI-based, prion diseases. Look up prion diseases. They're crazy. I mean, again, all this stuff is really cool and I support it. You know what AI can't do? It can't help Joe Biden finish a fucking sentence, apparently, which I would like. If there's one thing that I wished AI did, it's that it could just help Joe. Can't we get OpenAI to create some sort of drug in like a protein modeling thing or a drug modeling software to design a drug to help Joe Biden finish a goddamn sentence in a debate? I mean, what the fuck? Can we do that? Is that possible? Because I would love that. I guess not. And I guess he's not leaving the race either. Have you seen Joe Biden lately? Have you seen the rhetoric from Kareem Jean-Pierre, the White House correspondent, whatever the fuck that position is called? Everyone on his team. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of internal rumblings about whether Biden will stay in the race, but it's interesting. It's just interesting to see a man cling to power so hard that like his hand breaks. Well, he's an old motherfucker, so he really doesn't need to squeeze that hard to break his own wrist. But like the clinging to power is just really like, can't you just retire, man? You really got to be the president at 81 or however old this fucking asshole is. You really got to be the president of the United States. Here's a newsflash. The president of the United States is a figurehead. He doesn't even do anything. You're really going through all of this just so you can have lunch with the prime minister of fucking India and the chancellor of Germany. You're really going through all of this so you can just sit in a chair. Like, if you're just listening, I'm clasping my hands and leaning forward. You're really going through all of this so you can clasp your hands and lean forward and be on Adderall 24/7 and just shake hands with other world leaders at the G7 summit. You don't need that. Go spend time with Hunter. How about instead of running for president, you go fix Hunter? And so Hunter can be president someday, because I would vote for Hunter. Why don't we do this? How about we replace Joe Biden with Hunter? People are talking about who's going to replace Joe Biden in the race. I don't think it's Kamala. I don't think it's Newsom. I think it's Hunter fucking Biden. I think, you know what we need? The Democratic Party, as a historic liberal that supports, again, I've never voted and I never will, but I lean left. You guys know, like, all jokes aside, I do lean left politically. I am being real about that. And I think what the Democratic Party needs to do is they just need to lean into the craziness, lean into the absurdity, and put Hunter Biden on the ticket. Hunter Biden, Gavin Newsom. Smoking crack at a winery. That's what we need in America. And that's how we beat Trump. Because think about the people that are voting for Trump. They want a guy that tells it like it is. You know who really tells it like it is? Guys that are on fucking crack. If you're smoking crack, it's hard to lie. Crack smokers, when they're not on crack, they'll lie a lot. They lie to get more crack. But when they're on the crack, cocaine, I think there's a lot of good shit. That's where all the good business ideas come from. People that do coke, they go, let's start a business. We need that sort of energy to reinvigorate this country. We need Hunter Biden to smoke crack on stage and go, Donald Trump fucked a porn star. I know, I was there. I jacked off to it. That's what we need. We need that sort of honesty. We need Hunter Biden to be like, yeah, I did help my dad. I did get my dad a 10% stake in Burisma, that Ukrainian oil company. You want to know why? That's the sort of entrepreneurship and networking that I will bring to the table in the United States. If I did that for my dad, what do you think I can do for the whole country? That's a guy I would vote for. But their Democrats are wringing their hands and they're like, oh, I don't know. Should we put in Kamala? I don't know. Are white liberals ready for a black female president? Are they ready for that? No. Here's a news flash. White women hate women, and they really hate black women. They're not going to vote for Kamala. They're going to tell their friends that they're going to vote for Kamala. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to write in Jill Stein. Or they're going to write in fucking... All right, that might not be true. I don't know. There are certainly a lot of people that are just hardlined on both sides right now, and they're not going to change. You know what? You have your Trump supporters that are just dug in, and you have your people that are in the Democratic Party that, regardless of who the candidate ends up being, they're dug in because they understand that the election is not just about the person that gets elected. It's about everyone that's appointed once that president is elected. So, and that is the bigger picture that I think a lot of people don't understand. And when that is explained, I think that actually compels a lot of people to vote. Not me. I'm still not going to vote. That's what compels a lot more people to vote, because that makes them see the bigger picture, be like, oh, fuck. Just because I don't like Biden doesn't mean that, like, I don't like all the people on his team and I'm voting for a team. I'm not voting for Biden. I'm voting for a whole team. Right. And so, like, that's what, and that's why it doesn't really, I'm not really upset. Like, which is a nice change of pace for once. Joe, like, whether it's Biden or Kamala, guess what? It's going to be the same 100 to, I don't even know how many people get appointed, but it's going to be roughly the same people that get appointed, whether it's Biden or Kamala. And those are the real power players. You know what I mean? Sure, they have, certainly the president of the United States has a lot of power, but ultimately, I just think that no matter what happens in November, it's going to be chaos. You're going to have protests in either direction, whether it be Trump, whether it be Biden's body double, whether it be Kamala Harris, whether it be, I don't know, Hunter Biden. It's going to be protests. It's going to be chaos. And I'm looking forward to that because I live in a very tall building away from it all. Don't try to look up what building. I have guns. But I did want to just talk about, again, I know this gets rehashed a bunch. I won't spend the whole episode on the debate, but this is crazy, guys. So this is an article from the Journal. How Biden's inner circle worked to keep signs of aging under wraps. So this is, and again, I think this is what the left doesn't really understand, is that, like, they are so dug into they were for a year, 2 years, or however long he's been president, 3 years. Biden, the left and Democrats, they have dug into this stance that Biden is not aging. He doesn't have dementia. He's at full capacity. He's actually younger. Some of the time they even say that. Sometimes you'll be like, Biden looks like he's getting a little old. He looks like he doesn't know where he is. He looks like he's cognitively declining. They'll be like, no, he's better than ever. He's actually have you seen Benjamin Button? He's actually getting younger. You know, that's the kind of like energy that the left put off for like years. And I think that like, yeah, this debate that happened gave the left permission to finally admit that Biden is declining. And that and I want to dig deeper here. The whole fact that the left feels they need permission to have a thought about something is the fundamental issue of that entire fucking party. You know? That the fact that like they have these underlying bubbling feelings about Joe Biden's age that they push down, and they won't even admit it to themselves that Joe Biden is aging out. But when everyone else starts talking about it, suddenly it's obvious, right? Suddenly it's obvious. That's the whole reason that the Democrats are going to lose the fucking election. That's the whole reason that the Democrats are going to lose. Because they have no fucking playbook and they're not honest with themselves. You know, the Republicans have a whole slew of problems as well. Don't get me wrong. I know it sounds like I like focus a lot on the Democrats and the left in this podcast. That's only because we have a left president. As soon as we have a Republican president, you bet your ass I'm going back to that. But Trump has his issues too. He's a psycho, you know. But anyway, that's sort of my read on it. But like even his inner circle, the people to really blame for like the loss, the Democrats losing are the people in Joe Biden's inner circle. So I mean, listen to this level of denial. Just listen to like the denial of like how bad he's slipped. So check this out. Here's an excerpt. So again, this is the article on how Joe Biden's people kind of hid his like dementia-riddled brain from the public. So let's see. Lawmakers in both parties said they don't get enough FaceTime with the president. Joe Biden took almost a week to call Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer after the debate. A White House official said the president had spoken to at least 20 lawmakers since the debate. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Biden has said had fewer small meetings with lawmakers as his term has gone on. Okay. So check this out. German officials, aware of Biden's fatigue at night, sought to accommodate the president by planning a June 2022 event with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz at 5 a.m. right after he had his morning oatmeal. No, I'm kidding. In the early evening. So Joe Biden is meeting with like the Chancellor of Germany. And here's how it went. The informal event, a soiree at the Alpine resort Schloss Elmu during the Group of Seven summit, was arranged as a confidential meeting on Ukraine in a relaxed setting. Biden didn't show, surprising the chancellor and his aides, officials said. Instead, Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived and announced that Biden had gone to bed, according to two people who were there. So they scheduled an event for Joe Biden to meet with the Chancellor of Germany, right? In the early evening, which is already accounting for the fact that he's an old guy who wants to go to sleep early. And at that time, he had already gone to bed. And so it's time and time again, you know, they're trying to adjust for this guy, and it's just sad. At this point, I don't even know. I'm only going to talk about it this episode because it's like, yeah. And I don't know what else there is to say. That's pretty much all there is to say about it, guys, is, you know, they've lost. You can look back, mark my words. I really think that it's going to be Trump. Do I want it to be that way? Not necessarily, but we're getting fucked either way. So I really can't, I really don't have a lot of emotions around it anymore. People that are like over the age of 25 getting emotional about politics is just really embarrassing. You know, people that like Like, even if your day is ruined by the results of a federal election, take a look in the fucking mirror and realize that you're the problem. Whenever the next president, whoever it is, when they're elected and the riots start or the protesting starts, it's not going to faze me. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to have a bowl of Fruity Pebbles. And I'm going to thank my God, the Lord Jesus Christ, like I do every day. It's not going to affect me at all. I don't care. I don't care. And neither should you. Because what's the real effect? Project 2025? Have you heard that? Project 2025 is a playbook started by the Heritage Foundation, which I believe Trump has actually distanced himself from. I could be wrong about that. That's definitely fact check me on that. But it's a playbook that the Democrats are using to sort of put Trump in this category of, if Trump gets elected, here's what's going to happen. Project 2025 is going to happen. They're going to totally criminalize abortion. They're going to defund the Department of Education. They're going to make sure that Hunter can't smoke any crack anymore. A lot of bad stuff. The worst part about Project 2025 is in Project 2025, if you'll notice, they're gonna take all of Hunter Biden's crack cocaine. I can't let that happen. I love that guy. He's an inspiration to me. People go, what's your least favorite part of Project 2025? I go, I don't know. I'm really scared that they're going to defund the Department of Education. I don't even know what they do. Help fund public schools? I don't know. So yeah, obviously, yes, there will be effects. There will be drastic changes to the country as a result of this election. But again, if you listen to the show, it doesn't really affect you because you're either already homeless and you're not going to be helped by the federal government, period, regardless, or you're really rich and you don't need to worry about politics. You can just go to Mexico to get an abortion if you really want to. No one wants to. Well, maybe some people want to, but a lot of people. All right. So that's that. I'm done with. I'm done. I'm done with the debate. If I'll come back to it once. I'll come back to it once there's a real development. But that's pretty much all I want to do on that because it's just exhausting. It's exhausting. It's exhausting how constant the conversation is about it. So that's it. Let's move on. This is more of a fun article. I think a lot of speaking of the rich, I think a lot of rich people are realizing that this world is going to shit. The billionaires are building bunkers. The rich are finding ways to live longer and in seclusion from the rest of the world, go off the grid. I love it. I would do that same shit. But here's an interesting one. So here's a new thing here's a new hobby that the rich have. Freezing their dying corpses. Freezing their corpses. So for future revival. So here's one from Bloomberg Law. Nobody wants to come back from the dead poor. True. Luckily for the rich, making wealth immortal is more solvable than reversing death. Estate attorneys are creating trusts aimed at extending wealth until people who get cryonically preserved can be revived, even if it's hundreds of years later. These revival trusts are an emerging area of law built on a tower of assumptions. Still, they're being taken seriously enough to attract true believers and merit discussion at industry conferences. Can people just fucking die and let it go? Can you really? I mean, this is like put my money in the grave. Like this is like put my money in the cryo freezer. put my land deeds in the cryo freezer. That's what this is. I mean, yeah, and it brings up a lot of questions. Here's some of the questions that people are bringing up philosophically, right? Can money live indefinitely? Are you dead if your body is cryogenically preserved? That's actually a very easy question to answer. Yes, you're dead. Are you dead if your body is cryogenically preserved? Could you imagine you work 30 years at like Goldman Sachs and you work in their AI department and you're loaded and then you die and then you get your body freezed and your last thought is about the tax implications on your portfolio when you're about to be frozen in a cryon freezer? Are you considered revived if you only have your brain? If you're revived, are you the same person? All right, so let's meet some of the people that are trying to like freeze their bodies to like avoid a taxable event. This is the craziest thing that the wealthy are doing. Excuse me. The rich are freezing their bodies and their brains to avoid a taxable event upon their death. LaBelle, 76, is always finding new ways to spend his time, most recently as a writer of young adult fantasy novels. He loves living and doesn't want money to stand in the way of a second chance. LaBelle said he has searched for about a year for a trust model most likely to hold up through centuries. I mean, this stuff is absolutely retarded. He plans to put $100,000 in his revival trust, with the rest going to his daughter and her husband in his foundation. Could you imagine, like, you're about to be in a will and you're inheriting money, and then all of a sudden, instead of inheriting the money, the guy that like your dad that dies puts it all in a cryogenic freezer? I would literally break into the cryogenic freezer and steal that shit. Are you fucking kidding me? I'd be like, you know, you're expecting to get your dad's house when your dad dies or something like that, and he's like, I'm actually gonna freeze the house. This is crazy. So this rich guy, he goes, I really want to figure out a solution. Otherwise, I'll be in there with my fingers crossed, hoping there's money left over 200 years from now to pay for the resurrection process. You're an insane person, and you need to just die and let go. LaBelle, this random rich dude. Hey, you know what's not going to be around in 200 years, dude? America. So guess what? You know what's going to happen in 200 years? You're going to get resurrected. And you know what? China is going to be the country that resurrects you. It's going to be some arm of the government in China, and you're going to get revived and do slave labor indefinitely. That should be your fucking punishment. You know what? Any rich person that is rich enough to cryogenically freeze their body in the hopes that they get revived hundreds of years later when we have the technology to do that, you know what your punishment is for coveting immortality? Your punishment should be that you do get revived by China and that you mine cobalt for eternity. That should be your fucking punishment for trying to play God. That should be your fucking punishment. So here we go. The Revival Trust is a twist on the Dynasty Trust, a tool used by the ultra wealthy to pass wealth down to multiple generations. Both can help avoid the 40% federal tax on estates worth more than $3.6 million, though investment gains are still subjected to income tax. I don't know. That's a bunch of numbers. You guys aren't rich enough to even know what any of that means. Let's see. Here we go. Trying to reverse a death certificate muddies the legal waters, House said. He names a trust protector, some person or entity that can modify the trust agreement with the power to determine whether the revival has happened. I mean, this stuff is psychotic. This is what happens when you don't need to work a job. This is the kind of shit that you get involved in when you don't have to work and you're too rich and you don't have a job and you don't have to like wake up every day at 9 a.m. is you start worrying about cryogenically freezing your corpse. It's crazy. This shit is unbelievable. Some people will say that they consider revival only if they're the same person they are today with all their memory intact. Some people are content to say that a human clone would be the equivalent of revival. Just pay your tax bill. Is it that crazy? Just give the government a little bit of money. Can you just do that? No, they have to freeze their bodies and download their brain onto a computer to avoid a estate tax. Others said they don't care if they have a body if their brain is uploaded to a computer. I called it. I literally called it. Revival trusts also push the limits of laws against perpetual trusts, which are intended to prevent rich families from hoarding money for generations. Well, you did a really bang up job doing that, because they're pretty fucking good at it. It started to get people thinking, well, if I had a trust for 1,000 years, what do I want to do? I think that precipitated some of these people thinking about preserving their body. What could go wrong? I hope everything goes wrong for these people. Let's see. I mean, I really just I don't even know what to say. Let's see. As science improves, more people are seeing cryopreservation as their last great experiment. Tech moguls Sam Altman, Jeff Bezos, Larry Ellison, and Larry Page have pledged hundreds of millions of dollars towards companies trying to defy death and aging. Earlier this month, Cradle Healthcare Company, led by biotech child prodigy and longevity investor Laura Deming, came on to the cryonics scene. Oh my God. With 48 million and promised to develop rewarming technology that's key to revival. Rewarming technology. I have a new type of rewarming technology for these cryogenically frozen assholes. It's called a crematorium. That's a fucking rewarm that you all deserve. The move added much needed credibility to the industry. So Jeff Bezos and Sam Altman have invested hundreds of millions of dollars into businesses that are going to create, they're trying to become immortal. They're trying to literally reverse aging and defy death with cryogenics. Right? I mean, that's the sort of that, if that is not a dystopia, I don't know what is. Where the ultra 0.001% wealthy people have the privilege of immortality. The privilege of immortality, or even just living until the 200 years, 300 years. I mean, we could quite literally be in a world very soon with how fast technology is developing, where the wealthy, it's already true that wealthy people live longer than poor people because they have access to better healthcare and a number of other reasons. But imagine a world where it's not only that, it's also they have access to like $100 million cryogenics lab where their bodies are frozen. I mean, imagine Jeff Bezos cryogenically freezing himself right before he dies and then coming back 200 years later. And we have to deal with this asshole all over again. I would not allow that. I'm actually really hoping that all these ultra rich people cryogenically freeze themselves, because it's going to make a great target for when I go and shoot up that fucking Joking. I'm joking. I don't know if I don't know if actually direct threats are illegal to make, but that was a joke. This guy says, I believe the aging process is going to be cured. It's a disease. No, it's not. Growing old is not a disease. And if you think that aging is a disease, you're a mentally ill, rich psychopath. He says the technology isn't there yet, but I can bridge that time gap with cryonics. How about you do this? How about you bridge the gap between you and your son that smokes crack all day because you never spent any time with him in his childhood because all you did was work. How about that? These rich fucking pricks. I'm so tired of it. All right, let's close on something light, guys. I hope you're having a great time. No questions in my Facebook group, which makes me very sad. But I know not every week is good. Not every week is a win. But let's close on something light. Israel. So I guess the war continues. The war in Gaza continues, and there was another attack in Gaza that I do want to talk about. I mean, it seems to be escalating. It doesn't really seem like there's any end in sight, right? I mean, it just seems like that rage and the anger and frustration is just, people are dug in on both sides, and it just doesn't seem like there's really, any sort of path towards a ceasefire. And this excuse me, guys. Gaza City was evacuated. So here's an update. The Israeli military urged all Palestinians to leave Gaza City and head south Wednesday, pressing ahead with a fresh offensive across the north, south, and center of the embattled territory that has killed dozens of people over the past 48 hours. The stepped-up military activity came as the U.S., Egyptian, and Qatari mediators met with Israeli officials in the Qatari capital, Doha, for talks seeking a long-elusive ceasefire deal with Gaza's Hamas militant group in exchange for the release of some hostages. We've all heard that before, but what's the new update? Israel informed people in Gaza that of the evacuation order by dropping leaflets urging all those in Gaza City to take 2 safe routes south to the area around the central town of Deir al-Balah, and said that Gaza City will remain a dangerous combat zone. But what part of Gaza isn't a dangerous combat zone? It's like they're all dangerous. I mean, here's more info. Only 13 of Gaza's 36 hospitals are functioning, and those only partially, according to the United Nations Humanitarian Office. I mean, it just seems like, again, another topic that's just so exhausting, like whether it be the war or whether it be the election. It's just, I'm tired of it. I want to talk about the Hawk Tuah girl. Wouldn't it be funny if like the Hawk Tuah girl started a podcast about, and then all she did is talk about Israel and Hamas? Because like she got famous for talking about how to give a good blowjob. I would love it. Here's an idea. If I was, if you don't know Tua, that woman who went viral, just moved to LA, quit her job, and signed with a talent agency, and everyone's mad about it. This is America. This is how it works. Why are you mad? Because you want to get signed by a talent agency? How about you go out and you describe how to give a great blowjob? Maybe you can get signed too. That's how you get signed these days. What are you going to get signed networking with people? Go fuck yourself, you sleazebag. You need a network? Go fuck yourself. Have some goddamn creativity. The Tua woman is a creative powerhouse. She's a creative powerhouse. I want her to write movies. I want her to be president. I want Tua. How about this is a ticket? Hunter Biden, Tua. That is a ticket that I would vote for. A man that smokes crack and a woman that gives a great blowjob. I want Tua to give Hunter Biden a blowjob on the debate stage. I want her to be like, hey Trump, get a load of this. And I want her to suck Hunter Biden's dick on the stage. That's what I want. I think that would appeal to a lot of America. A lot of Americans would be interested in that. They would go, I like that. I like her. That would appeal to like middle America. I don't much like Hunter Biden because my son smokes crack too, and he never got back to me. He owes me $400, but I like this. She's hot. I vote for her. Trump's all right, but I like this Hawk Tuah girl. That's what we need. But she moved to LA and she has a talent agency, a talent manager. And I think it's great. I want her in sitcoms. I want her to have a sitcom. But most importantly, I want the Hawk Tuah girl to start a podcast where all she talks about is the intricacies of the Israel-Palestine war. I want her to go and I want her to have a solo, just like me, like a solo podcast where she's like, hey guys, I know that you're probably tuning in from my viral moment where I talked about how to give a good blowjob. But like, I also want to talk about like the Israel's policy right now and like what they're doing to like sort of bridge the gap between like the getting food to the civilians, but also making sure that we eliminate Hamas, which is very important because you know when it comes to Hamas, the only thing you can do is spit on that thing. The only thing you can do when it comes to Hamas is spit on that thing and kill and eliminate them. That's the only way this war ends. And then she has like a dumb bitch co-host. It's like, yeah, like a vocal fried dumb bitch co-host. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I really, our country, the country continues to fade. And the only light at the end of this tunnel is the Hawk Tuah girl. The only light at the end of this tunnel is a woman who is still passionate about sucking dick. That's the only thing we have left going for us. But I have faith. I have faith that Hawk Tuah girl can turn the country around. I do. I believe this woman can literally single-handedly turn our country around. And she can get up. I want her to run for president. I want her to run for office. I want her to go, God damn it, ladies, we need to start sucking these men's dicks again and do it right. What happened to the American spirit? She's up there like smoking a cigarette. She's like wasted. She's like, what happened to the American spirit? I suck dick good every time. And I don't let my man have a mediocre blowjob because that's my man. And all these women are like, woo! And guys, you gotta start eating pussy again. All the guys are like, boo. I don't know, guys. I just want the war to be over. I want the election to be over. I want this series. I want this season to end. I just want this season to end because it's like the same shit over and over again. You know, it's played out. The war, here's my message to every politician right now. War is played out. It's been done. It's hack. Well, you're going to go kill people in another country? Have a fucking can you have an original thought for once in your life? It's played out. Do something else. Tell us that the aliens are back. Tell us that aliens existed and they visited Earth. Can we have something new? I'm tired of bloodshed and I'm tired of famine and I'm tired of hostages. I'm tired of old politicians and I want the aliens. I want the aliens. Give us something good because right now we're tired. And that's why Americans are on the edge of revolution and they're on the verge of killing each other at every moment. At every moment, it seems like Americans are on the verge of murdering each other over the smallest inconvenience. And they do that. And you want to know why? Because the government hasn't given us a cool new thing to play with, like aliens or, I don't know, a hurricane. I guess Houston got a hurricane. We need more stuff like that. The hurricane was good. It distracted us. We need more crazy weather events to kill people so that we're distracted. Because right now, we're very focused on the reality of life, and that is not good. When you have Americans focus on the reality of their lives, it's a bad sign. Because that right before that, you get riots. And that's why I'm preparing. That's why I've got a bunker. And that's why I'm going to cryogenically freeze my body as soon as possible. How about this? Instead of like when I'm about to die, cryogenically freezing myself, can I just cryogenically freeze myself while I'm young and then put some money into a stock account, a portfolio, and then just wake up in 50 years and just be a rich young guy? That would be cool. Why are we doing that? Why is all these old fucks that get to freeze themselves? I want to freeze myself. I'm young. I'm young and ugly. But guys, it's pretty much all the news this week. I think it's that's pretty much all I want to cover. I love you. I hope that I hope whatever you do and wherever you are, I know some people do listen to this show. It's really unbelievable that a single individual would still be listening to my voice up to this point. It's really shocking. And quite frankly, you should be ashamed of yourself. If you're still listening at an hour 10, you should really be ashamed of yourself, because I really don't know what I'm talking about. And I want you to know that, like, you're doing yourself a huge disservice by continuing to listen to the show for such a long time. But if you do like it, follow the show on Spotify. Just do that. Don't even do anything else. Follow the fucking show on Spotify and review the show on Spotify, because it helps me get boosted in the SEO. You know, all that bullshit. SEO. I'll show up higher up. It'll be recommended more. Just follow the show. It really helps. Like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe. Give me a little comment. Say hi. Let me know if you would vote for a Hunter Biden Hawk to a Democratic ticket. I know I would. And tell your friends about this show. Tell your friends that you like Sean's show. If you do that, you probably won't have any friends shortly thereafter. But I'm your only friend. You only need me as your friend, because we hang out once a week on Thursdays or Fridays, depending on when I publish it. And that's the only friendship you need. We hang out, you give me your attention, and I give you lies. But guys, I love you. Have a great week, and stay alive. Bye.